Hello, one and all. Welcome to Stories of Progress. We're your hosts, A to the K, and joining us today is a former Progress Tag Team Champion, the one and only Mr. Charles Crowley. Charles, thanks so much for being here, man. How are you?
Hello, I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
We are good. We're good. Yeah. Even better now you are here to join us.
Nice, good. You sound unsure, but okay.
So we'll start if we could. At the beginning. So you began your progress journey behind the commentary desk. So I just wondered, so how did that help shape you as part of the crew?
Okay, so yeah, back in the day, Progress was painted as the type of promotion that wouldn't want someone like me. Someone that's like, I don't know, extra colorful, eccentric, all this. I actually did have a few people within Progress say, you're just a bit much. And considering where I was in my career, truthfully, at that point, I couldn't back it up. So, yeah, I've always had the pageantry, the extravaganza and all that. But I was working my arse off to back it up. And I believed I could back it up to a certain extent. But to Progress's level, at that point, not quite. So, someone said to me, look, how about commentary for now? And I was like, well, absolutely, because that puts me in a position where I get to watch these absolute pros go at it. I get to study it. Literally, I have to out loud tell everyone what I'm thinking. Whether I was any good at commentary, I would argue no. I just thought everything was amazing. I remember some of the feedback of people being like, whoa, why is Crowley losing his mind at this headlock? And I was like, I was genuinely hyped. I was just a bit too excited from the very beginning. But I learned so much from that time because I was literally forced to sit there all day and watch this. And I loved it. I loved every second of it. And I took so much in, watching people that were still fairly new, watching people that have been doing it for ages, watching people, smash it. And some people drop the ball maybe. And that was incredible. So like I learned a huge amount from that. But one thing that I'm very proud of is that while I stepped in slightly aware that maybe I didn't fit the mold they were looking for, I didn't shy away from who I was. I still dressed like me. I still brought my monkey Sebastian. And as time went on, people would make comments that were watching about Crowley, and it built and built and built. And there was suddenly this space that just fit me perfectly. And there I was in Progress, and I jumped straight into the fire.
Yeah, absolutely, you did. You debuted your incredible entrance for Progress in the Peckham Arena, Chapter 112. Obviously, aligned yourself with Elijah. What was it about him that made you do that?
Elijah is sick. Elijah is someone that is highly underrated, and I will say that forever, and it does my head in because like he is so good, and that's why he trains people over in Wales. He's someone that is trusted. He's someone whose work ethic is unmatched, and the reason why Elijah was so good for me, and why I was so good for him at that time, is because we were and are polar opposites. Like for me to learn from him, watching him, like a freaking master at work, just kind of like technically so sound, just like pick these people apart, and this intensity, that legitimacy is something that Charles Crowley needed. And Elijah was just needed to find a way to get his personality across to people behind the camera at that point, not in the audience at that point. And I could help with that because I could see his value. And he was very good at like looking at his opponent, picking them apart and all this. And so that he could benefit. That was my strength, is kind of like, this is who I am. And I'm not afraid to say it. And he's like, whoa, how do you do that? And I'm like, right, well, how'd you do it? Do you know what I mean? So, and so together we were just a really, really good duo in that sense.
Oh, it's a perfect match in many ways.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, obviously, it wasn't until chapter 120 that we saw you step between the ropes. How was it sort of wrestling in Peckham with no fans?
As a wrestler that very much loves that we wrestle in front of a live crowd, it was confusing. It was confusing for everyone. I think everyone. Literally, some people liked it in a way. No, not any wrestler would say we don't want the fans there. Do you know what I mean? But sometimes it's like, actually, this is interesting, and you do learn. You learn to consider there's cameras around you, and you're doing all this stuff for the people at home now. So when you would acknowledge, say to the crowd, "Hey, did you see that?" You go and no one's there. You go, "Oh, did you see that?" And that's actually like a skill in itself. So people came out of that era, more well-rounded because of that. Because then the crowd's there, we get to feed off that energy, and there's nothing like it. But there's also these cameras here, and there's people watching at home, people watching abroad, because Progress is just watched everywhere. So it was weird, but it did allow me to focus on what I was lacking at the time, which was just that focus and intensity to believe that I could win, really.
Yeah, definitely a couple of extra feathers to the bow there. At chapter 129, you finally made your Electric Ballroom debut in a triple threat tag match. How was it stepping into such a special place like the Ballroom, mic in hand, and then obviously getting to showcase your wrestling ability?
There's nothing like it. The Electric Ballroom, to this day, every time I'm going there, I know it's going to be special. And especially that first time, we were desperate for it. We all were. So that was just a wild time. And I cannot express the feeling of when you hear the crowd, because the crowd are desperate to watch what they love. We're desperate to show them what we've got and just absolutely annihilate each other. Like, we love this. And so but it changes your intensity. You watch actually some of the performances in the Peckham era, like it's so focused and zoned in, and then the crowd's there, the fire of the wrestlers just changes. That is evident. And the same was for me. I find it so much easier to feed off the crowd because the crowd is sick. The Progress crowd and I will forever feed off them easy.
Yeah, definitely.
So you were actually named in the 2022 Super Strong Style 16 tournament and faced WWE's Charlie Dempsey. Now he seemed to sort of dismiss you, and I just wondered sort of how much did that sort of hurt in what was your first huge singles opportunity?
Don't they all? Don't they? This is welcome to my career. Welcome to my life. Again, he is a perfect example. Good guy. He is, again, exceptionally good especially at that time as well. Like the stuff that I was working my ass off to get better and better, couldn't have been in there with someone better. I hate the result, but at that time, it was apt. It was right. It was what I deserved, because I deserved to be in strong style. But he is a great example of the kind of wrestler that's like, who's this prick? Is this guy taking the piss out of what I am passionate about, what I train every day for? And that's how I came across to people. I was never taking the piss. I'm here too. I'm here training too. I'm here setting up promos and putting in production value because that's the kind of stuff that I enjoyed watching. Do you know what I mean? So I want people just to know what I'm doing. And if you want to watch, you can. If you don't like it, don't have to watch it. Do you know what I mean? So, but the truth is, I know he wanted what I was doing, and I wanted what he was doing. So he was a perfect person to go in there with, and I learned so much from wrestling him. I may have lost, but that elevated me, no doubt.
Yeah, no, definitely. On day 3, though, you were picked last in the 8-man tag, but you picked up the win for your team after dropkicking your own captain, Ricky Shane Page, out of the ring. What are your memories of that match and your mental state after managing to secure the win?
It is my favorite match of all time.
Yeah.
Is the absolute truth. And now it's so funny when people say, what's your favorite match? And you'd think it's a one-on-one. I've got so many one-on-ones that I could easily answer that. That match, I feel the chills just saying it. That match, it was 8-man, wasn't it? It was so many people in it. that was a game changer for Charles Crowley. Like I went out there unapologetically me after losing to Dempsey. I'm pretty sure it was afterwards. Yeah, it was. Yeah, unapologetically me, and I was like, "Oh, this is what I'm going to give, and I'm going to give all my energy." And the crowd reacted so, like, they were there for me. They were like, "We've loved watching your journey. We feel for you. We're with you." Because I'm a loner, and it's so obvious. And like, no one wanted me there. Those guys that they picked me last. That was bullshit. But like, you know what? Whatever. I got the win. Sorry, Ricky Shane Page. But yeah, that I will never forget that match. I love that match, and I'm so glad I got the win because it was just like can we swear on this?
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. It was yeah, it was just a little bit of like a fuck you guys. After all that. Who's laughing?
So obviously after you lost to Maggot, you went into exile and became obsessed with numbers, which obviously turned out to be Elijah's win/loss dates. And you also figured out he never loses to the same person twice. So obviously you returned to tell him that and to offer your hand, and he dismissed you. So as somebody who's already beaten him, he challenged you to a match. So how much pressure did you feel heading into that match at Chapter 146, and how did it feel to receive such an ovation after the win?
So a perfect example of one of the one-on-ones that I would say is my favorite match of all time. If we're talking one-on-ones, again, that match. So even afterwards, I couldn't comprehend why that match was so good. Like I was just a bit like overwhelmed. I remember feeling it, and the crowd, and I didn't expect that, and I was like, it must be something wrong. Just use and that support. This is when the Progress crowd are so cool, because I'll never forget that. Going in there with Elijah, there is a lot of pressure because he's a perfectionist, and I know he would want to pick me apart in that way as well. He wouldn't want anything to get in the way of that, but also it's like a statement for me to wrestle him now, and I've got to step up, and you know, you've got to throw every ounce of energy in, and I don't know if that was going to upset him or not. I don't know, but I was going through all sorts of stuff at the time, like mentally, like I was still questioning myself, because eventually after time, everyone's doubts of like, who's this guy, they do get in your head, and they do play in your head and all that. And yeah, then he wanted the match. He asked for the match. And again, the journey of that match, the journey within that, just that one match was so big for me. And on retrospect, I'm so glad it was with Elijah, because he's like, you know, he's such a good guy. I could rave about him all the time. But to get that win was a huge, huge thing for me. Because I'd spent like years bigging him up. So the fact I beat him, it's got to be something after all that work. You know what I mean? So yeah, incredible. And the crowd reaction, I will never forget it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was after that you kind of went on to a bit of a winning streak as well, which led to you being added to the 2023 SS16 tournament. How did it feel heading into that tournament, deservedly off the back of, you know, victories over Elijah, Maggot, and Mike Bird?
Great. I had so much more confidence, especially with someone like Mike Bird. There's literally always within the match threatening to like pile driver you on every part. Right? And you're like, why? What's wrong with you? I know he wants to win, but at what cost? But people like that, you know, and coming out the other side, I'm just like, right, this time I am so much more confident. I was so confident that like it worked so well against Danny Black, who again is exceptional. Literally, I saw something of his recently, and I sent him a message because I was like, "You're sick," and he's getting more and more slick with all the things he does, and so cool. But for that day, that worked for me really well, and that was like one of my quickest matches at Progress, and it kind of helped because he was really aggy at the time, and he was a bit blinded by that, but it suits me. And yeah, like I just had a confidence. Ironically, it's funny because I actually lost myself a little bit because I was so confident. I was like, right, I just want to batter people now. So I kind of lost the meaning behind like why I got into wrestling at the same time, because I want to do it, but I want to do it in spectacular fashion. I want to be so good that I can do it while entertaining everyone. And I was a bit like so focused that I kind of lost that aspect of me, and that actually benefits me in a fight, in life, in everything. So that was amazing. And then and I had that mindset leading into Haskins. Have you got a question set up? Am I ruining your next question?
No, I mean, I was going to ask about Haskins, but we're moving into that nice and naturally, so that's fine, because it was just obviously, mentioning taking on Mark Haskins. You took him to almost 20 minutes there, so I was just going to ask what your reflections were on that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I went in there with that mindset, but that man has had that mindset and even more intensity for longer. So I was going in playing his game, and I've had that issue for a lot of my career. I don't do it anymore, no way. In fact, the last year, some of the best matches of my career, because I am unashamedly just wrestling as myself and the way I choose to wrestle and want to wrestle. And it's the thing I'm bloody good at. But I was playing his game and lost to him. Again, I learned loads. And again, I don't want to jump on your questions, but after that, it kind of led onto, I don't know if it was a bit of a lost streak after that. Is that right? Have you got the figures?
Well, no. I mean, we were going to move into the brighter side of things, because obviously
no lost streak for me. I don't know what you're talking about. But there was a bit, and I was against like international talent and Axel Tischer and all this. And again, I was playing their game. I was trying to wrestle the way they wrestle, and I was doing damn well at it. And again, I learnt loads, but I noticed that, if I'm going to win, it's when I wrestle, how I wrestle, and that's what I'm good at. So yeah, let's talk about more good stuff.
Well, I was going to mention Defy. Obviously, all of them performances led to you being picked up by Defy, and you went on to defeat Gringo Loco in Toronto. So I was just curious what that meant to you.
Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, come on, like for the guy that was never supposed to be in like Progress Wrestling, for people to then watch his journey to earn his right to stay there, and then not just stay there, but actually, succeed there, and then to be wanted because of that platform abroad in the US by Defy of all promotions. That's such a sick promotion. And Gringo Loco, that's so badass. So it meant a huge amount to me. And again, like, I just look back at these things and I just see how far I've come, even from then against Gringo Loco. If I had that match now, it would be so different. But it meant the world to me, and I can't wait to be back at Defy as and when.
Awesome, yeah. So obviously, a few months later, you and Alexxis Falcon were paired together in the Hooked On Wrestling #1 Contender final. I just sort of wondered, what was it about Alexxis that worked so well with you, and did you feel that sort of instant chemistry?
Yeah. So Alexxis and I, the first time we interacted wrestling wise, I'm pretty sure I had just chosen to attack her at another promotion. But the chemistry of like, she's someone that was really beneficial for me, because she is a badass. Yeah. She is an actual badass. And you can tell from the way she, like, despite the fact that she's like, I love Disney so much. Like, it doesn't matter, because the way she walks the ring, her fire, her energy, the energy and intensity behind her strikes and everything she does is so badass. And I just thought that was really, really cool. But we just think we're just very similar. I just really feel like we're very different in ways, but like we're here for the same reason. And she's got something unique about her, and I really felt like I could see that. I feel like early time, I think a lot of people could see that, but I feel like some people couldn't, and it really bugged me. And I was like, I think we should work together, because I think you can help me and I can help you. And then it just kind of grew, and the chemistry grew, and we were like, this feels so right. And then we were like, why don't we like really start investing time in the tag. Because the thing is, we are not tag wrestlers. So we've got a lot of work to do. The chemistry is key. And that's why the tag was as successful as it was. Without that, it wouldn't have been. But we worked our arse off. We wrestled as a tag internationally. We trained as a tag so much just to, again, it felt like I was almost revisiting my initial journey and progress. But as a tag team, it's like, God, I've got to prove myself again. But 'tis the business. And that will forever be the case. When, the day I get signed, that's the plan anyway. I'll feel like I have to prove myself there as well. And that's the industry and that's what we're here for. So, but yeah, the tag is something that I hold very dear to my heart. And I think we touched greatness, and I think there was and is so much more potential for that tag to dominate. But it's just, as it stands, I feel like we've got to go our separate paths for now.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So obviously, from our conversation so far, you clearly, you sort of, you take lessons from every match, and that's sort of part of the game and improving. So I just wanted to touch on, obviously Blake Christian arrived in Progress as GCW World Champion, and you were his chosen opponent. So I just wanted to sort of ask about that opportunity and what it meant to you, and sort of what you learned from that.
Well, he was a bell end. And I tell you what, that's why I thought it was so great. And I mean that, and it comes from a place of love, because at that time, he had so much heat. And I was so glad that happened, because he was just an absolute bellend, and I'm an absolute twat. So I was literally like, well, that is so fun. Let's do that. And it was almost a game of like, we're both there to win, but it's also kind of like, who can be the biggest prick? And that was so fun. And again, he has so much like excitement around him, and like online, he was upsetting so many people, and I was like, I love that. This day and age, it's like, I just thought that was great. So again, and the way he wrestles is different from the way I wrestle. He's coming from abroad, and there's quite a few things I remember being like, oh God, can I keep up with that? What do I do here? But again, you come out of it stronger, quicker, smarter, more experienced.
Yeah. You had maybe your most iconic match in Progress when you faced Matthew Rehwoldt in the most dramatic match in professional wrestling. Can you take us through that match and the online fallout?
Oh, I love that guy. So I finally had another thespian, and I was like, right, I love it when, like, the concept of these two thespians just fighting until the other one doesn't get up for the three is just in itself so entertaining. And the fallout from it was all because the clip that was taken out of context is horrendous. All the people that back in the day be like, is this guy taking the piss out of what we love? No wonder they thought that, because there's this clip of what looks like I'm just, I don't know, just pissing around. So like, but let me tell you, obviously every time someone watches the full match, they see the context, they go, oh, okay. Do you know what I mean? And it got so many people watching it because they went, what is this car crash going to be? And then they actually watch it and they're like, oh, it's not a car crash at all. I see what they were doing. They were trying to one up each other in regards to being absolute drama queens. So like, again, it was so nice to be in there with someone like that, because I do something, then he do something, we react off each other. And I was like, this is sick. The people there live loved it. Like the energy was so good. Even if some people in live were like, what on earth am I watching? They'd never seen it before. Do you know what I mean? And let's say those liked it. There was definitely people that liked it. There's people that didn't like it. When you're trying things that haven't been done before, or you're pushing the boat out, if you want to stand out and you want to be a fucking legend, and you want to be someone that's like is the first person to ever do this, that, you have to not be afraid to fail. Do you know what I mean? And we didn't. We gave it all our energy, and I don't think we failed at all. I think it was such a unique match. There's not been a match like it, for better or worse. And again, I learned just so much from it.
Yeah, well, that's it. Wrestling's like ice cream in it, many flavors. Some people don't like them all, but it's still ice cream at the end of the day. And I liked it, so that's
love
all.
the analogy.
Hell yeah, so did I.
So obviously, following on, the cheeky little buggers, truly came into their own, going undefeated until finally winning tag team gold. So it's after 3 years of hard work and progress. So I just wondered, how did it feel to finally win gold and to do it with Alexxis?
Hard to believe, not because I don't think we didn't deserve it, because actually I think both of us, and Alexxis put it really well at unboxing, both of us deserved that. Both of us as individuals deserved that, and we worked hard as a tag to be in that position. We really pushed ourselves, and we had a lot of work to do real quick to be in that position. And if we hadn't worked, we couldn't have capitalized in the way we did. People say, this is a fluke, or this or this. It's like, if we were in that position and we hadn't prepped, we wouldn't have capitalized. We wouldn't have been champions. So we deserve to
100%.
be tag champions. But to do it alongside her meant the world to me. It's a memory I'll again never forget. The look on her face, look on my face, they were very, 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 very real. And we got backstage and we were just like silent for ages, and we were just looking at them like it was insane, like absolute disbelief. So I mean, it's just hard to put into words, but it was incredible, and I'll never forget it, and I really hope we win them again one day.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you kind of look back on the night that you unfortunately lost the gold in Philadelphia?
Shit.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I really, I mean, it was crap. Imagine being taken all the way to the US to showcase this brand new, seemingly successful tag team to lose.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, sweet. Who are these two? Like, let's see them in the flesh. Oh. And it's a bummer, and that's on us. And we have always struggled thinking about that. We've always struggled talking about it. If we've been on a podcast before, it's like, I don't know what to say. I know normally I'm like, boobity boo, but actually now I'm just like, it's shit. It's awful. It's an awful feeling, and it's like, we've always wanted to kind of rectify that. And of course, we think, well, winning the tag belts again would do it, but it's like, there's something we need to do there, and we don't know what it is yet. But even if it's go to the US and just kind of a new showcase or whatever, but like, it's hard that, because we loved those championships, and you could tell from our energy we kept who we were, but we made it very clear how much they meant to us. And I was so proud of her, because she is and forever will be the first female Progress tag team champion. And that meant the world to her, and therefore it meant the world to me. So that she absolutely deserved that.
Yeah, love that.
So, I mean, sort of touching on after that, the only match you had in Progress after the defeat saw you win, but in a much more serious style. And this obviously before Alexxis' injury. So I just wanted to ask, do you think we were about to see a sort of a transformation to take place as a tag team, or?
Against Reese and Rogan.
Yes, sorry,
We battered those boys. And I tell you what, that match felt great. And I mean battered because I actually think those two are awesome, and they're so hard. And that was a kind of point. Like, we actually we pushed for their big, because we were like, this is us making a statement, and it's like, we want these two because they're so like the perfect people. But oh man, we were really had a point to prove, and I really, really feel to this day that match proved it, like without a shadow of a doubt. It's like, no, don't laugh with us. You know what? Laugh at us. That's fine. But when it comes to it, don't forget what we're capable of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that match absolutely showed it.
Oh yeah, 100% a message there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously like Alexxis got like hurt, and then everything changes. Like we were on a one-track journey to challenging for the titles again, no matter what, because we weren't going to stop. We were going to plow through whoever. Do you know what I mean? And even if we couldn't, we'd get up and do it again and do it again and do it again and wear them down until eventually we did. There was no stopping us, no way. Yeah, and then just like outside things and injuries happen, and then you're like, oh crap. Well, right now we are stopped. Like we're not like stopped for good, but like right now we need to think of a new way to push forwards. And then she rehab, time went on, and you know, of course, I'm still going. I'm fortunate enough to still be pushing forwards, but I took some time away as well because without her, I was like, well, this is the energy I was doing. This is so it's kind of like, what do I do now? Because while I know I've always known that I will be Progress champion one day, it feels weird because she's now injured to then just be like, well, I'm gonna crack on.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
I mean, sorry, I was going to say, like you said, you took time away. You were away for, I think you had one match in around 8 months, and again, that was another tag team match. You teamed up with Session Moth, but obviously she turned on you at the end of that. So, how much did that hurt after that one match that you were back?
I mean, it sucked, and she's not my tag partner, and you know what I mean, like, and especially again, I guess it's because she's a female wrestler as well, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know if it's like a piss take from Progress to put me in that position or anything. Like, I don't mean that in like a dickhead way, but I'm just like, this ain't her, and so it's kind of like, I will take what you give me. I will always take what you give me, and I will do my best with it, and I'll show you my value, and I will do my best. But now I did love Moth. She's a bit of a dick, but I appreciate her for everything she's done. She's been around a long time. She's consistently like getting more and more experience, but like that sucked because I've always been left. Like I've always been left in the ring, and people have always gone. And even though it wasn't Falcon's choice, I was like, I still felt left. It's not her fault, but it is one of those things. And then when Moth did that, I'm like, what am I doing? And that's properly led to my energy now. And that is it kind of dawned on me because I'm just after that I went back. I was like, what am I doing? What? Yeah. So I can swear on this, can't I? So what the fuck?
Yeah.
And you know, I was like, I'm another thing. And this is probably like a really good platform to say this. I've had a lot of American wrestlers tell me, and I appreciate it because they say it because they want me to succeed because they're like, I love your work. A lot of people say, I love watching all this, but you can't be called the twat. And I'm like, oh, why? And they're like, because in America, that word is just so not okay. Like in the UK, I know it can be seen as like really not okay, but actually it's become like you're a prick. Like, you know, you're but it defines me so well. But in the US, like, no, that's literally like you're saying I'm the C word. And so again, it's like a really big thing. So I had this thing where I was like, again, that was around the time of Moth, and I was like, I always fail when I don't fully embrace who I am and what I'm doing. And I have to take accountability for that. So that's when I was just like, I'm the twat though. and I really realized that. And I'm like, I am the twat. I am a twat. And I'm so good at being a twat. So this is the time where it's like, I either choose to embrace it. And I mean, really embrace it because I went to Japan. I learned loads. Worked one-on-one with Tajiri. He taught me so much. He taught me how to be a twat, like with some of the moves that I do. And he was like, no, it's not cheating, because this misdirection and all this. And I'm just like, so I've got all this, and it's like, you know, people telling me do this, don't do this, and I'm not saying they're wrong. You know, maybe it will affect me in the US, but as for right now, I know who I am. I know who I want to be. And I know what the
Yes.
Progress fans want from me. And it's what I want for me as well. So now is the time to fully embrace that. I'm just going to be the best fucking twat I can be.
I love it.
Oh, brilliant.
So obviously you had your singles return match at Unboxing against Alexxis, and that was a match that saw you play some tricks on your partner, but you still came out on the losing end of it. So I just wondered, sort of, what are your memories on that moment and that match?
I didn't mind that loss.
Yeah.
Because that loss came really unexpected. I was actually really prepared for that match. I was quite sure I was going to win. And I went into it, I was very much like kind of, oh, okay, cool. You know, I have so much respect for her. I think she's amazing, but I think I've got this. But what that match showed me is that, like, from our time together, I learned a lot from her, and she learned a lot from me, but she learned you know, other things as well from, like, being away from me. And that she just did things in that match that I wasn't expecting. Like, I knew this woman so well, and then she just pulls stuff out that I didn't even know that she had in her repertoire and her library of stuff, and she won. And it was such like a tricksy, like, it was a tricksy, sneaky win, but it wasn't sneaky in like a lesser way. It was technically epic. I just didn't expect it. Like, she just I don't know, man. If you watch my reaction, you can see I'm like, and I still feel it now. I was like, whoa. and I was just so, like, you know, proud of her dealing with that injury, being, like, quite alone during that time as well, and rehabbing, John Cena-ing that comeback, and then coming to that match in the shape that she was in, and she'd been working her ass off training, and she absolutely was the right person to win, and even to this day, I'm like, I love that match. I love that match so much, and yeah. It's incredible, and it's and the sky's the limit for her.
Yeah, definitely. So your most recent match in progress was for the Proteus World Championship, a match under WWE finisher rules. Do you look back on that match as a bit of a missed opportunity, and what would you have done with the Proteus stipulation?
Oh, this is such a difficult one because, like, first of all, I pinned Simon for the 3 count. It just wasn't counted because the roll-up's not a finish. What? But, like, I feel like I had him. I know I had him. But that match, and this is not an excuse, but it is a little bit. That match was like such a Simon Miller match. It was epic. It was fun. I enjoyed it, but it's like all the WWE moves. I'm like, you kidding me? This guy literally has to watch every episode, every second, and study every move about what's happening and how they reversed it. I was like, so I was like, fine, okay, here we go. But again, I'll take what I'm given. I'll do my best with it, and I think it was an awesome match. Just taking that. But when it comes to the Proteus, it's devastating because, like, that championship, I actually think is one of the coolest championships in the business. I think it looks cool. 100%, the concept's fantastic. Isn't it sick? Like,
it's awesome.
I even remember when they, like, debuted it with this, like, epic promo. It was at sea, and I was like, wow, so random that it's at sea, but also so cool. And I just think, like, oh yeah, if I had that championship, like, oh man, my mind just goes wild with that. Like, don't get me wrong, before that match I was thinking about it all the time because I was like, when I win, this is what I'm gonna do, and it's gonna be like a Crowley rules match. And my brain was thinking, like, so many things I do. I think it would be a shame to, like, say them now here.
Of course,
yeah, of course, no. But, like, oh, you just know it's going to be like a kind of carnival rules, and it's up to me what they are. But I want to change the aesthetic. I want to make sure that before every one of those matches that the ring is changed slightly. I've you know, if we're going to do this, let's not pretend I haven't done cinematic things before that have entertained the masses. So that's got to be a factor of it. But, oh yeah, but I'm getting too excited. So can I drink this monster?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Monster pays the money. Pays the big bucks.
Yeah, we can't even get sponsors, can we? Water.
Yes, we have Asda's finest spring water.
So you were filmed backstage at chapter 177, and you regurgitated some black liquid over yourself, much to the chagrin of Session Moth. So I just wanted to ask, sort of, firstly, what on earth was happening in that video, and what does this upcoming match mean to you?
So, Tajiri said to me, genuinely, Tajiri said to me, "You can use the green mist," and I was like, nice. Yeah, isn't that so sick? Because I got on really well to Tajiri, and training with him was awesome. I learned so much from him. And I've said that a lot, but actually, like, very specifically, he really helped me put who I am into the way I fight. And that's what I needed, because I had that legitimacy now. So, but yeah, he said, "Look, I'm more than happy for you to use the mist." And I was like, "That's so cool. Thank you. And he was like, "As long as you figure out how to do it yourself." I was like, yeah. And I was like, "Oh, you piece of shit." And he knows it. He is as well. And so yeah. And I kind of thought to myself, I was like, because I'm fortunate to be doing so well at the moment, I am being seen a lot. So unfortunately for me, as I find myself like embracing the twat and wanting to just really capitalize on who I am, I'm also learning how to use and capitalize on the mist. Now, have you ever seen any wrestler practicing or trying to use the mist?
I can't say. You always just seem to have it down, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they just seem to have it down. I agree. What's up with that? So, like, and he's like, "You got to figure it out." And I'm like, "Okay." And it's really, really genuinely not easy. Like, you know, the concept is that you're regurgitating stuff and then shooting it out. But like, genuinely, it isn't easy. And, you know, the things you're seeing are basically just representations of what I'm going through. That is something that I hope to one day capitalize on. I don't know when, but it's just, I know something is coming in regards to my energy. I think my energy is just going to be full on twat mode, and I can feel it. It's almost there. I wanna look different. I wanna act different. I want to attack and fight different. And I'm so focused now that if I can do all of that, I just think it's going to be a really big year for Charles Crowley.
Absolutely. I mean, speaking of big years, Super Strong Style 16 coming up. We've already mentioned your previous efforts in the tournament. What would it mean if you were named again this year?
It would mean everything, and I need to be in it, because the position I'm in at Progress right now is like I need that opportunity. And considering what I did last time, and then I improved like the second time I got further, it was a very clear demonstration of like my progress, not just within Progress, but in wrestling in general. And I have to be in it, because like the Proteus didn't work out for me, but that doesn't slow me down. That doesn't stop me, and I'm constantly evolving. And this next, like, how do I word this? And I know I say a lot of words, but like this is really difficult because I'm still finding it. And I'm not saying I'm just gonna turn into some freak creature, but like I know I have all this confidence, and if I can just hone it in and capitalize on what I'm practicing, I'm training so hard at the moment. I just believe that this year could be that year where I get to the summit, and I can't express to you how ready I am. So for me to have Moth next, I have to, in the nicest way possible, destroy her.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, fair. But like, dude, she was a prick to me. She needs to go. Like, I'll never overlook her, but I have to. I'm afraid I have to. And I just hope by the time that match happens, I've found that next evolution of Charles Crowley.
Yeah. I mean, we're excited to see it. We definitely think you've got a very big year ahead. Before we ring the bell, though, on this interview, it's time for quick progression. So it's a lightning round with fast answers and no hesitations. Are you ready?
I hate these. Okay. My brain just freezes. Yeah, go.
Favorite Progress opponent?
Elijah.
Okay, dream Progress opponent?
Cara Noir.
If you could recommend one show on Demand Progress Plus, what would it be?
One of Progress's shows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, the one where me and Alexxis won the tag team championships, because that, including the Lycos match, was insane. So what's the name of that show?
I'd have to look back.
No idea.
You guys are in big trouble. But that show.
That one.
Okay, you may have kind of answered this, the previous one, but I'm not going to ask anyway. If you could recommend just one match on Demand Progress Plus, what would that be?
I would actually say it's one of the matches between Cara Noir and Spike Trivet, because that whole thing was insane to watch, and that journey. I think it's when Cara Noir's partner got involved. I just thought that match was insane. That was a curtain sellout, as they say, and we were all watching that. So I would say that match, because I thought it was a masterpiece.
Okay, and lastly, which tends to trip a lot of people up, which 4 wrestlers are on your Progress Mount Rushmore?
Oh, damn!
In a lightning round.
I will going off the last few episodes, I will say that, we have had people pick themselves, and you're more than welcome to do that.
E times 4. I would say, look, I've got to say Cara Noir. He's definitely one of them. Now listen, mine will be different, because while I watched the Progress in the past, I'm seeing it from one side, like being here, because that's what I'm like. I think for me, that's kind of just makes sense in my brain. So it's like Cara Noir.
Yep.
I'm gonna say Spike Trivet. I know, like the crowd have their issues, but I think that guy is underappreciated in regards to his work. Cara Noir, Spike Trivet. Who I would say Rio. I think Rio has elevated the women's championship beyond, like, I think I was so upset when she lost it. So I would say Rio, because I think she's if the person elevates the championship, that's saying something, because that championship means so much anyway. When that person elevates it, that's mad. So Cara Noir, Spike Trivet, Rio, and me.
Love it.
I'm gonna throw it in there. So I tell you what, I am gonna throw myself in there purely because I think I am very much associated with Progress. I think I stand out. I think I'm unique, and I think I'm going to get to the top. So this is like an early days Mount Rushmore, and you're just building my head, and it's a bit smaller than the others. But
we're chiseling away, just as you are this year, and what's going to be hopefully a fantastic year ahead. Thank you so much for taking the time, and obviously best of luck for your match with Session Moth on March 30th at Chapter 178.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Goodbye forever.